Oh, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome tonight to Tulsa Sound.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
I am your host, Mr. Eric. This is my co-host, Mr. Oscar Pedro.
I'm Oscar Padron, and this is my good friend, Mr. Eric.
That's what I just said, Oscar, and I'm so glad to see you tonight. Here we are, folks. It's a beautiful, still late fall day, and what a great time we're having, folks. Here we are again from our big studios, and tonight we're just kind of solo. We don't really have a musical guest this evening, but we're going to talk about a whole bunch of interesting stuff.
But we do have, yes, several live performances to share with you this evening, so
Yep.
time to hang
Are
out.
those pre-recorded?
Those are pre-recorded, Mr. Eric.
Those performances are
Pre-recorded.
All right.
And so it's going to be a great evening of Tulsa sound music for the viewer. How are you doing out
I'm
there
doing
in
all
viewer
right. I'm
land?
doing
And how are
pretty
you,
good.
Mr. Eric?
I'm doing fine. It's been a crazy holiday. We had
Yeah, it's
Thanksgiving.
been a busy holiday
I drove
for us
up
all.
to Kansas City and hung out with my sister for a week, and
Woo.
that was crazy. And then got ready to come home and woke up that Saturday morning and looked out the window, and yeah, gods, it was 4 inches of snow. And I just freaked out, and my sister was laughing at me from the other room because I was going, "Oh my God!" And she's like, so it was crazy. But by the time I got back to the Oklahoma state line, the sun was out. It was a beautiful day, and glad to be home. Glad to be
Yeah,
back.
I'm glad to be here myself tonight.
How was your Thanksgiving?
I'm glad to be here with my friends, and
Well,
glad
there
to be
you
doing
go.
the show, and feeling real
bet.
grateful and thankful this time of year.
Hey,
you
viewers,
know.
how was your Thanksgiving? I
Yeah.
asked.
Oh,
I'm
I've been
asking-
seeing the pictures of their Thanksgiving on Facebook. Y'all been eating. I've been seeing it.
You betcha. You betcha.
But I did just see some black turkeys
Oh,
that were sitting in the smoker a little too long. Come on,
Well,
y'all.
you
Y'all need
know.
to quit. What's going on with that?
I
What's
fried
going
the
on?
turkey in my bare feet. That's what I did now.
But we had a great Thanksgiving at the house, and my sister's kids, my nieces are all growing up. My nephew's growing up,
Yeah.
and Dee's growing up. Everybody's growing up, and
They have a tendency to do that.
yeah, it's a wonderful
Only a
thing.
problem when they grow down.
So let's get right into it, Mr. Eric. There's a whole bunch that we're going to share tonight. One of
Yeah.
the things we have is a performance of Manhattan Island Serenade by Brad Absher and Steve White. Yeah, at a house party. We also have the original version of Johnstown Flood by Anthony Pierce, who has
All right,
been a
well,
guest
yeah,
here
he
in
was here.
studio with Todd Harkreader.
Yeah.
And we'll have that for you this evening. We've got a little Brandon Jenkins for you this
Brandon
evening.
Jenkins.
Yes, that's right. We've got some Brandon Jenkins to show you. And we have an interview that we took with David Teagarden Jr. out at the lake a couple
yes.
years back. And Dave explains in his own words what the Tulsa Sound is and what it meant to him.
Very good.
And, I hate to roll right into this like this, and I didn't think we'd be here tonight discussing this. But Dave Teagarden Jr. passed away, and we are all emotionally navigating this strange road that the Tulsa Sound community is on right now, and we're all in shock and dismay. It's only been a few days, and tonight we're going to be celebrating the life of David Teagarden Jr. here on the show with just some old photos and a couple of stories about Dave.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Look forward to it.
Absolutely, and we've got some trivia questions. Me and Mr. Eric do a back and forth question.
Back and forth.
Yes, with this show tonight, just so the critics know, is going to be compiled together. This show we did another show, but
The
we
other
didn't
show.
finish it.
No.
And we are going to
Well, we did, but
blend
but
the shows
anyway.
together in a melange of
You know that
video
Steely
editing
Dan song that got like
spectacularness.
erased? Well, okay. So
But our wonderful editor, Mr. Rubin's going to be working on that, and so
he's going to be working, and this goes just to prove that Oscar's putting him on the spot right now with that, folks, and you better believe it.
Howdy,
welcome
hey.
to the
Howdy,
Tulsa
howdy.
Sound. Hey, Ruben, how are you tonight, man? What's going on with you? How's your cat?
Doing fantastic. We've been enjoying the sunsets, it getting cold, the nice clear skies.
Oh, that's
It's
Ah,
been fantastic.
It's getting cool. It's getting cool out
Nice.
there. We're getting down in the 20s now. So grab a nice drink to warm up with, grab a
Yep.
blanket, grab
Yep.
a whatever
Grab
you
one,
need.
roll one up. It's
And
time for
you
the
know it.
Tulsa Sound podcast.
That's right. We will be back after this short commercial message.
Rock and roll. Let's talk about concerts. Let's talk about banging your head. Let's just talk. Do you need more rock and roll in your life? Do you need a musician, a record, a band? Do you need anything that is in any way whatsoever connected with rock and roll? Call us. It's for your own good. We know everything about every rocker from Elvis to Prince. Rock and Roll Central. Wow! Why aren't you calling?
Call 1-550-TEAM. 20 cents for the first minute plus 10 cents for each additional minute for calls in the 516 area code only.
Very unique presentation.
Yeah. Tonight we're going to be celebrating the life of David Teagarden Jr.
And you have you've kind of
And we-
written
Yeah, I have something
an
I've written.
outline. I would hate to call it a eulogy because that's not.
No, it's not a
It's not
eulogy.
official.
It's
This
just
is-
something I wrote.
Yes.
So,
So understand, folks, that this is something that's kind of like a lot of us has sort of surprised us. It is hard, and especially for Oscar. Oscar and David were very close friends for a very long time. And when I got the news, I was extremely concerned for all of you viewers, and Oscar too, who really are good friends with him, and how this is going to hit everyone. Over the years, we've lost a lot of our Tulsa sounds, and every time it just breaks your heart. But that's the nature of life, and we have to deal with it. But Oscar, I know I read through what you had written earlier today, and I think it's really great. Why don't you jump in there?
Thank you, Mr. Herrick. So it is with a mixture of sorrow and gratitude that we come together to celebrate the extraordinary life of David Teagarden Jr., who graced this world with his rhythm, passion, and heart. David, a distinguished drummer and beloved father, left an indelible mark on the Tulsa Sound and the lives of everyone he encountered. Born into a family that vibrated with musical energy, David was more than just a musician. He was a beacon of inspiration. As the cherished son of David Sr. and the loving brother of Matt, he carried forward a legacy of sound and soul, merging it with his own unique flair. His beats resonated with the pulse of life, reminding us to march to our own rhythm. David dared to dream, and in doing so, he taught us the beauty of pursuing our passions with courage and determination. His life was a symphony of creativity and love, and he encouraged everyone around him to embrace their dreams, however big or small. He believed in the power of community, and he was one of the biggest, brightest stars, knitting together the tapestry of the Tulsa Sound with every beat of his drum. To the music community, David was not just an icon, he was a friend, a mentor, and a guiding light. His contributions were more than musical notes, they were expressions of his soul, shared openly with the world. He was a bridge that connected the past, the present, and the future of music, leaving a loving legacy to his family, friends, and peers that they will treasure forever. As we navigate these tough moments of grief, let us be reminded of David's unwavering spirit. Let us draw strength from the joy and inspiration he brought into our lives in times of sorrow. Remember David's laughter and the power of his music, finding comfort in the thought that his spirit continues to live on each time a drum is played with heart. David's journey reminds us that life is precious and should be lived fully. He taught us endurance and resilience, virtues that we can embrace as we continue to celebrate the gifts that he shared. To his beloved family, to Matt and Dave Sr., and to all who knew and loved David, may you find solace in the love and joy that David showed in our lives. May you feel the arms of the community that he cherished surrounding you, lifting you, and helping you carry his memory with pride and love. Let us celebrate David T. Gordon Jr. with gratitude, remembering him not in sadness for what we lost, but in joy for what we have blessed to receive through him. Let his life encourage us to pursue our dreams with courage, to shine our passions openly, share them, and to live inspired. Dave is survived by his daughters and his older brother Jesse and sister Amelia, his father and his brother Matt. Rest in harmony, dear David. Your music will forever echo in our hearts. And it's been a rough week, Mr. Eric.
Well, I know it has.
It's been a rough week.
Yeah. Well, this is one of the things that when you have a community of people like Tulsa Sound, Tulsa musicians, when you lose somebody, it's a lot harder. If we weren't friends, if we didn't all know each other, it wasn't a small community, it wouldn't matter.
Right.
But it does, and it hits us hard. And all you can say is that to make something positive of it would be to use it as a inspiration to create.
Yeah.
sounds
David
and art.
David was truly a Tulsa Sound guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he was he was born into it. I mean, he was really a product of the Tulsa Sound. He went to Central High School. He started out in the Tulsa Boys Singers with Dave Kelly and Brian Lee
Wow.
and Dave Soupbone Thomas and Brandon Jenkins. I think they were all in that together.
Son of a gun.
At 5 years of age, so they all knew each other then, and later he played in the Sixth and Peoria band scene with Guy Smiley in those early kind of bands back in the late '80s, early '90s. Spent a long time.
Nitro era too.
The Nitro, then it became the Eclipse Coffee House, or whatever. Dave was down there for years, collaborating. He did a lot of work with Brian Simmons in a project that I mentioned earlier called Guy Smiley.
Yeah.
It was the first time I ever saw Dave. And then later, he worked with Wanda Watson, and he, of course, spent years as Steve Pryor's drummer in Steve Pryor and the Redliners, and the later 90s incarnation of Steve Pryor and the Mighty King Snakes. And Dave and I were friends, and we spent a lot of time on the road together, doing a lot of gigs. And as young guys, in our 20s, learning this business.
Yeah.
And I really valued my time with Dave, and I'm going to miss him dearly. But he played, all around. He played for years. He sat behind Brad Absher on a Tuesday night down at the Cherry Street Full Moon, and he would play with Dustin Pitsley for years. He was also a member of Brandon Jenkins' band and was on the several records. He did a record, I believe, with Stephen White. So he was, a valued player in the studio,
Yeah.
and he played a lot with Donnie Wood, and let's see who else. Dave was all over it. Dave still was playing to this day. I mean, he was just playing, less than a week ago. It seems like he was. Anyway, it's a valuable reminder to Lord, let's all
Cherish
take
what we have.
and
with
take
life.
stock for a moment in your own life, and take stock in your family and your friends and the gig you have. Take stock in the good things around you, your dog, your cat. Let's take stock in the relationships that we have, and let's take stock in the fact that we all get to share this thing we call the Tulsa Sound.
That's right. The
together.
community of sound.
And we certainly are going to miss Dave. We're going to send Dave off into the Tulsa County Stars tonight, and his funeral will be Saturday, and there will be an after the funeral jam at the venue Shrine, and Dave wouldn't have had it any other way. So lots of folks are going to be out there. Jeremiah Kirby on sound, of course, hosted. Donnie Rich is helping out and hosting the event, and it's going to be a great evening of Tulsa sound and a great way to celebrate Dave's life. And I called Dave Boom Tap. That was my nickname for him.
Yeah.
So seeing these pictures of old Boom Tap on the screen, and there he is with Freak Show, Brian Lee, Dave Mooney, Charlie Red, Dave Kelly, Dave Sue Bone Thomas, the most powerful funk band in Tulsa since the Gap Band. I mean, and in so many ways. And it was just a great, fun project, the Freak Show. We're going to miss Dave and his contribution to the Tulsa sound, his contribution to the blues, his work with the Ian Moore Band. I mean, the list goes on, and I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some project he did. But know that tonight we just wanted to take a few minutes and celebrate Dave. And I'm going to miss you, Boom Tap. And, let's move on with the rest of the show.
Okay, well, let's take a few minutes of break here, and we will be right back with some more great stuff. So please stick around. It's Tulsa Sound Podcast tonight, live.
Discussing whatever you discuss at this moment. Evel Knievel is very intense. We talked to him a few moments ago before he came out of the van. And his total concentration now is getting that bike off the approach ramp and onto the landing ramp. And he's not hesitating. He'll go.
All right, folks, and we're back on the Tulsa Sound Podcast tonight. And we've really had a kind of an interesting evening. A few months ago, Oscar, you were able to do an interview with Dave Jr. At a festival where he was playing, right?
Yeah. We were up on the Illinois River. This was about 2 years ago,
Okay,
I
2
guess
years
now.
ago.
Up on
time
the
flies.
Illinois River for the 4th of July celebration with Randy Crouch.
Cool. And so you basically sat down with Dave and asked him all the important questions.
That's true. We had a good time, and a lot of great music was played. And I asked Dave the ubiquitous question, what is the Tulsa Sound? And so we sat back in the trees, and Dave kind of explained it the best way he knew how.
Beautiful.
So,
Well, let's let him say those words. If we go ahead and roll that interview, let's take a look at that.
here we go.
Are we rolling?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning here. The heart of Cherokee County. Diamond Head Resort. The finest resorts on the river. Illinois River, that is. Well, I'm David Teagarden Jr. My father's David Teagarden. Kind of one of the original cast members of the Tulsa Sound, if you will. Oscar J here has asked me, what is the Tulsa Sound? And I'll start with, the words, out of the mouth of J.J. Cale and Leon Russell. People would throw that term around a lot, and they would kind of poo-poo it a little bit. They were like, well, yeah, what is the Tulsa Sound? There's no such thing. It's just, But it turns out there kind of is something, something about the Tulsa Sound. And of course they later, got their story straight. And I kind of think it's real similar with a lot of musical styles that have developed in the 50s and 60s. real similar deal to like Bob Marley and reggae. You know, these people didn't start off going for this particular sound. They were actually trying to do something else. You know, Bob Marley and those guys, they thought they were Motown. Oh, we're not reggae. We're recreating Motown here. You know, I think a lot of these early Tulsa cats that were playing were influenced by gospel music, blues music, rock and roll, country, and I think a lot of them, when they were younger, were really intrigued with R&B, Memphis style, Stax. So I think they were kind of going, we're R&B. And then they started playing for a while, and they were like, well, we thought we were recreating R&B, but it's turned into something different. And that, in a nutshell, I think is where the nucleus of that lies. Just trying to recreate some sounds that you heard when you were a kid, and you can't. Nobody can exactly recreate, you know, we're not parrots. We just morphed into a thing. And so you had all these wonderful Tulsa musicians who, like, by default, I'll say, you know, Jimmy Karstein said, he was like, well, how did you make it? How'd you do it? He's like, hell, there was only a handful of us anyway, you know. Nobody wanted to do it, or nobody could do it. So by default, you know, they're getting all the gigs. But there was a handful of Tulsa people that went out to California, went out to New York City, and they just kind of were so unique and such. They were such wonderfully talented musicians that they just got the gigs, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I once heard you say that the Tulsa sound is sometimes defined by a drum beat. Could you tell us about that drum beat?
Oh, I could feel it better than I could tell you about it. Great organist, Jim Downing, who is a eloquent writer as well. I think I wrote I read something he wrote when I was a kid. And to quote Jim Downing, to paraphrase Jim Downing, he said it has something to do with the powwow drums and the oil derricks.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
You know,
powwow drums and the oil derricks, and so
you know, the oil derrick had a cadence,
yes,
or a tempo, and it's a little bit lopsided. It would be on and then get behind a little bit, and then get on and get behind a little bit.
So would you say that's the inspiration for the Tulsa Shuffle, possibly?
Well, I don't know if it's the inspiration, but Tulsa is always has been a big blues R&B town.
Tell us about the Tulsa Shuffle.
Yeah, well, it's a shuffle. It's from Tulsa.
And
Tulsa Shuffle.
And it's defined. How is it different from like a Texas Shuffle or a Memphis Shuffle?
Oh, it's a little simpler, a little bit behind, and that's what makes it real hard. You know? We're pretty simple here in Tulsa. We're simple people.
The Tulsa sound is something that's been described to me as something that's effortlessly cool. And I love that.
It appears that way.
It appears that way.
It ain't easy. None of this is easy. I remember somebody said, "Oh, Markham, it comes so easy to you." And Jimmy Markham was like, "Hell, Louie's hard." I mean, just the odds of the universe coming together and spewing out Louie by the King, you know, that's a feat unto itself.
That's true.
Let alone, you know, some complex music. But
Markham played his fair share of standards. That guy played more standards than he ever played blues songs. As a matter, you know. it was
the
just
song and dance man.
yeah, and it was the way it had to be back then. Those guys played songs that were standards and got their chops up that way.
Sure.
Absolutely. You know,
He's a dude.
so yeah, the Tulsa Shuffle, the Tulsa Sound. Dave, I want to thank you for this interview. I love you with all my heart, man. We've been friends for 30 years. Thank you. Thank you,
Very
Dave.
much welcome.
And check out Dave. He's playing around town. He's playing with Ronnie Pyle in the area. He's playing with lots of folks. Go out and see him. It's All Sound Podcast. Subscribe now.
Night, night.
Guess I've had my fun. If I don't get well no more. Guess I've had my fun. If I don't get well no more. Please stop shaking my house. 'Cause I'm sick in the bed, waiting for the devil at my door. Somebody call my sweet baby. Gently break the news about the shape I'm in. Well, somebody please call my sweet baby. Gently break the news about the shape I'm in. Medicine fetch my favorite doctor. Life sentence of my favorite medicine. If I don't get well no more, Or let your feet get cold. Get up. Or let your feet get cold. I'm just a blues playing man here trying to satisfy your soul. I've been to Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, playing these blues everywhere I go. So get up. Or let your feet get cold. I'm just a blues playing man here trying to satisfy your soul. You to my right, you're out of sight. Get up, girl, and do it all night. You to my left, you're gonna get a left. Get up, baby, and shake it for yourself. Get up. Let your feet get cold. Just a blues playing man here trying to satisfy your soul. Get up, girl, and do it all night. You to the left, you're gonna get a left. Get up, baby, and shake it for yourself. Get up. Let your feet get cold. I'm just a blues playing man here trying to satisfy your soul. Get up. Get on up. Get up. Let your feet get cold. Just a blues playing man here trying to satisfy your soul.
Well, that was great. Wow. I'm so glad that you had the opportunity to sit down with him like that.
Yeah.
That is really, I mean, you know, a lot of times we don't think about. That's one of the things we do with the Tulsa Sound podcast. Part of our charter is we want to save the stories. We're not trying to create history or anything. We're just trying to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to get their word out there.
True.
To
It's a
show
chance
us
for
what their
all of us to
philosophy
share our
is.
stories.
Yes.
Really is. You know, we
I can't
aggregate.
talk tonight. I'm just
We aggregate and collate Tulsa Sound and its music, and you know, Dave had a real interesting perspective there, and it was a perspective shared by a lot of the old timers in that. What Tulsa Sound? They were just trying to sound like something else.
Right.
They were trying to sound like something else that they'd heard somewhere else.
Louis
and doing
Primo.
their best job. Well, or anything, you know, and so it all melded together to become this breathing, wonderful thing we call the Tulsa Sound.
The gumbo, that is the Tulsa Sound.
Truly. And, you know, it's, you know, he also, though, privately would describe it as that lopsided shuffle.
Yeah.
He would say that the Tulsa Sound's defined by the drums. It's the shuffle, Mr. Eric.
Well,
he'd say about a half beat behind.
Yep.
He said, you know, and he was stuck to his guns on that. But in a more PC, later, older Dave, he said, you know, a lot of things. But when we were younger, he was like, no, it's the shuffle. It's the shuffle. And, you know, I always admired his spirit when it came to that. But yeah. A lot going on in Tulsa.
Yeah.
And a lot going on. We want you to stick around because we have a video from Brandon Jenkins to share with you this evening.
Excellent.
So sit back. This is a little bit of Brandon Jenkins at home in his bedroom.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. A nice intimate portrait of Brandon Jenkins coming up for you right now here on the Tulsa Sound Podcast.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Oh, here's another one by me and my buddy Stoney. High Time. It's high time, having a ball. Places to go, people to call, yeah. Feeling good, out with my friends. It's high time we felt that way again. Let it go, leave your burdens behind. Well, life is short, things can change on a dime. I can't complain, I haven't a care. Dance to the music, put your hands in the air. It's high time we had a celebration. It's a party all across the nation. Declaration. It's been a while since I painted the town. It feels so good with my friends all around. I almost didn't, but I'm glad that I did. Haven't felt like this since I was a kid. It's high time that we're feeling no pain. The sun is shining, no chance for rain. There's so much love, man, there's something to see. There ain't no place that I'd rather be. Man, I wish this could last forever. It's high time that we came together, come together, yeah. It's high time we made a declaration. It's a party all across the nation. Celebration. It's high time that we're having a ball. Places to go, people to call. I'm feeling good out with my friends. But a time that we felt this way again. It's a celebration. All across the nation, celebration. Have a high time, everybody.
All right. That
Yes.
was great. That was great, man.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
here at the Tulsa Sound Podcast, we try to bring you some of this stuff, these intimate video snips, things that we've collected over the years, and you know, for many, many years, Oscar was the main sound guru, following all these guys around, and that's really unique. You know, I kind of missed out on that, not being here during that era that you were running around with those guys.
Yeah, that was
everything.
back when a sound guy had to carry his own PA. The clubs didn't have them.
Yeah.
And so it meant
Oh boy, that's a
it
truth.
meant owning a Ford van,
Yeah.
which means you become a Ford van mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
it meant
it's
having
interesting.
it comes down to customer service, and everybody wants a bigger, better PA, more amps. You know, back then those amps weighed several hundred pounds. and
yes, they
At the end
did.
of the night, you were
And those
faced
amps
with
are sponsored by
five-
Music Sound World 2715.
At the end of the night,
South
you'd have a
Memorial.
500
Come
pound
see
amp
Randy and
rack
Jim
to deal
today
with.
for all of your music instrument needs. Well, you know, it's funny because the last time that I talked to Dave Jr., it was we were at the Shrine, And he was calling me sir, and I said, "Dude, you don't have to call me sir." He's like, "Well, you're from my dad's generation, so it's just the way I am." I'm like, "Okay, call me sir." It makes me feel like a naval officer or something. But that was really cool. And I remember. Well, he told me he was a kid coming in there and running around Music Sound World and seeing everything like that. It's very interesting. We didn't think about it like that. We just kind of thought about, what if these kids, get your hands up, you kid. But anyway, well, we wanted to come in tonight. We wanted to share this with you because we think that, we hope that you feel like we do. That it's a terrible thing when these things happen, but the best thing that we can do is talk about it, celebrate it. Don't let it scare you and bury you. This is life.
Yeah.
And as Jimmy said, no one's getting out alive. So we have to roll with that, and sometimes it's tougher than other times. Sometimes it seems like it's too soon. So we're going to go with that. Now, for the rest of our show this evening, we had taped a show earlier, actually late in the summer, and then because of some technical difficulties, well, you know that Steely Dan song that got erased. Well, anyway, no, Ruben did nothing wrong. He's over there laughing. I'm trying to throw him under the bus. It has nothing to do with him, really. It has to do with royalties. It has to do with licensing. So at any rate, we are going to roll into the part of that show that we did not have to cut out and take off the internet.
Absolutely. So you'll be joining us for a live presentation from Anthony Pierce and Todd Hardcreator doing Johnstown Flood, followed by a performance of Manhattan Island Serenade done by Brad Absher and Stephen White. So stick around for more of the Tulsa Sound Podcast.
This is a song I wrote during the Johnstown thing. Lake Conemaugh, she let loose her water. Biggie's over Niagara, on the folks of old Johnstown. Oh, what a calamity befell the town that day. 2,200 dead, no one made pay. Oh, we way down the line, I call out to the mountains. Oh, why would you take my family, that terrible Johnstown flood? Well, the rich folks fancied fishing, so they built a dam. It loose all its water on the folks of old Johnstown. Train up and loaded, miles from its rail. 2,200 dead, that old frickin' never paid. Oh, way down in the valley, I call out to my Lord. Oh, why would you take my family in that terrible Johnstown flood? 700 tombstones lined on the hill. Most were never found, and I guess they never will. The 2,200 people lost their lives that day. 2,200 people, old Carnegies Bay. Oh, way down in the valley, I call out to Lord. Oh, why did you take my family, that terrible Johnstown flood? Oh, Lord, why would you take my family, that terrible Johnstown flood? Lay called them all, she let loose her one. There you go, Tyler.
Sitting on a highway in a broken van, thinking about you again. Guess I have to hitchhike to the station. Every step I see your face, like a mirror looking back at me, saying you're the only one, making me feel I could survive. I'm so glad to be alive, nowhere to run, not a guitar to play, messed up inside, it's been raining all day since you went away. Manhattan Island Serenade. Sitting by the highway in a broken van, thinking about you again. Guess I have to hitchhike down the highway. Every step I see your face, like a mirror looking back at me, saying you're the only one, making me feel I could survive. And I'm so glad to be alive, nowhere to run, not a guitar to play, messed up inside, it's been raining all day
Ain't that a song, Leon?